If you've been wondering why I haven't been posting videos lately, it's because I have been completely engrossed in the world of Lordran, and in this video I'll tell you why. I was aiming for something in the style of Egoraptor's sequelitis videos, and I may do this again for other games that I find exceptional. So without further ado, this is... If you've heard of Dark Souls, or its predecessor Demon's Souls, you've probably heard that it's difficult. This is true, but sheer difficulty is no reason to call a game great. It is the way that Dark Souls manages its difficulty that truly sets it apart. When you die in Dark Souls, you almost never feel cheated. It is through your shortcomings that you died, and the penalty is varying. You will return to the last bonfire you rested at with all your weapons intact. If you are human, you are now hollow, and all your accumulated souls lie above the bloodstain where you fell. If you rush back to the bloodstain, you may die along the way and lose those souls for good. But, if you are careful, you may return to that stain and recoup your losses, learning a lesson in the process. On the way back to that stain, you may see things that you didn't notice before and master enemies that gave you trouble before. When you overcome the opponent or trap that killed you, the level of satisfaction is great. When you overcome a boss that has killed you several times, the level of satisfaction is immense. From Software doesn't really give a shit. When most developers put hours of work into an area or a detailed character model, they make sure you see it. From Software has designed gorgeous areas like Ash Lake that many players will never even set foot in. There are optional unique bosses that some players will never fight, and meticulously designed armor that some players will never wear. Knowing that re-exploring an area could lead to secrets much more significant than extra souls makes the player even more ravenous for exploration. From Software doesn't care if they alienate all but the most hardcore gamer with their decision to not explain anything. You are forced to always learn through experience and never through textual prompts. After the controls are briefly explained in the first area, you're on your own. Even the NPCs are intentionally vague. Exploration is much more satisfying without someone holding your hand along the way. In a time when developers are continuously simplifying their games to appeal to the casual gamer, From's attitude is very refreshing. Dark Souls handles online interactions in an unprecedented way, and you could almost call it a pseudo-MMO. Though you can only directly interact with 3 other players at a time, Dark Souls gives the impression that you are connected to every other player in the area. You can learn from the failures of others by touching a bloodstain, which spawns a phantom to reenact the final moments of a player's life. You can leave messages for fellow pilgrims to indicate a trap, treasure, or merely to draw attention to a gorgeous view. In terms of direct interaction, you can either invade other players' worlds in various phantom forms, or engage in jolly cooperation. Both forms of direct interaction are thrilling and seamless. There are no visible multiplayer menus or queues, and the invasions and co-op are built into the lore. You can enter into covenants such as the Dark Wraiths that require PvP combat for promotion. Dark Souls' multiplayer component is a unique and fully realized part of the game. You don't need to invade or engage in co-op to complete the game, but you should certainly play with an internet connection. There isn't much that needs to be said about Dark Souls' bosses. They are among the most twisted creatures you will ever see in a video game, and each one perfectly matches the atmosphere of the area it resides in. Each boss requires different tactics, forcing the player to think. You're not going to find more exciting or unique boss encounters outside of The Legend of Zelda. There are more things to like about Dark Souls, but I think I've covered the major reasons. As this isn't actually a review, I'm not going to mention Dark Souls' few design and technical faults. I hope some people who watch this will check the game out as, even though it was critically acclaimed, did not sell exceptionally well. There is also a petition to bring this game to the PC that some may be interested in signing. I'll put a link in the description. And thanks for watching, this is Westside Luigi signing out, bye bye.